The world of Alurin, a land promising adventure, treasure, and glory at every turn for all the many, many heroes that inhabit it. From the far reaches of the frozen fjords to the sweltering jungles of Ishtka, opportunity awaits for all those brave enough to seek it. And, wait, who are you?
However, we are not the heroes of this tale, so welcome to the Party in Peril Villains Campaign.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the new season of Party in Peril Villains. It's not the new season of Villains. What I meant is it's the new season of Party in Peril, which happens to be called Villains. You guys get it. I am your DM for this season, and my name is Chris. And sitting to my right, but not technically, like sitting literally across the table from me. Introduce yourself and who you are playing in this campaign here.
I am Rochelle, and I will be playing the character of Len, a pixie rogue.
And then returning from last season, who do we have? Who's the other female voice on the show here?
Shaddai. And I am playing Lilith, who is 100-year-old Yanti, pureblood. She is a monk, and she is basically like a snake. Actually, I say she, but Lilith is non-binary. Lilith identifies as just a being of this earth, and she's very connected with her environment and surroundings.
And then whoever the other person is on the show, I don't know. You want to identify yourself?
Oh, hey, I'm Joseph. I'm.
Oh, yeah.
Did you cough up your coffee? I spent a lot of time making that.
We already killed Shaddai. Sorry.
Well, like the powder, I inhaled it. You know, it's like pumpkin, cinnamon, spice powder that just hit the. Oh my god! It came out of my nose. Oh my god! I'm like, what the fuck?
That powder went unfazed through your sinuses.
Oh my god! It really did.
Oh my god! There we go.
I told you I went a little heavy on the cinnamon.
The basic.
Well, you were warned.
You gave her the cinnamon challenge there.
For real, unexpectedly.
We're bringing the cinnamon challenge back with this episode.
Yeah,
that's
make
our
it
goal.
go through your nose. It's painful.
Snorting cinnamon. That's our new thing.
The true challenge.
That's what we. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Welcome to our audio version of snorting cinnamon.
So yeah, I'm Joseph.
Oh yeah, Joseph.
That's me. This season, I am playing a goblin sorcerer named Wazlo Ziz, and he is not a smart goblin. I don't know if there's any really smart goblins, but he's definitely not one of them. But he is. He's talented. He's a wild. Well, he doesn't know he's talented. He has a lot of untapped potential, but he's not really smart enough to know how to use it. But he's a glass cannon, but also with the intelligence of a pane of glass too.
But like he's got like a raging temper or something, right? Like
exactly.
He's easily angered.
And since his magic like kind of depends on chaos, it ties well, sometimes could tie well into his anger and or, have adverse effects. We'll see.
I imagine your character a lot like Bill Burr or Lewis Black, kind of just irritated by everyone. Like everyone is just idiots.
He's irritated hearing you describe him right now. Yes.
You don't know me.
So I'm really excited for this new season. And specifically, one of the big reasons is because we're doing this kind of like we're playing the other side of things. You guys are playing the villains of the story. you're not really heroes. You're kind of villainous mercenaries, and you're going to be working out of a dungeon. You know, you have your job. You live in a place and you go to the dungeon for your 9 to 5. Basically, I have yet to see a game really explore that before. I'm sure it's out there, but I've yet to see it, and I'm very excited for us to kind of get into a story that gets into that whole thing. So, this story takes place in a homebrew world, and these are homebrew rules, so don't at me too much. It is based on 5e rules, but with quite a few modifications. So there you go, as far as that goes. But the world is called Elorin, and this Elorin? There we go. This world is Elorin.
You made that name up.
I know.
Spell it. How do you spell that?
I haven't looked at these notes for months, guys. The world is huge. It really is. It's gigantic. And we're starting out in just this tiny little piece of it that only like accounts for maybe like 4% of how big this world really is. You guys are starting out right now in an area known as the Southwald. And that is just kind of a chunk of the world that's sort of like used to be mostly jungle and is kind of transitioning into almost like a foresty kind of area. The immediate area used to be part of these old ruins that belonged to Shaddai's character's people long ago. The Yuntai, centuries ago, kind of ruled the majority of the world, at least like a good third of it. And for the most part, were wiped out. All over different parts of this world, you guys will find lots of ruins and destroyed structures and stuff like that. And lots of snake carvings and stuff in it because, you know, snake people, and they like being snake people. The area that you guys are starting out in is not exempt from that. So there's a lot of ruins around where you're starting. But you guys right now, you live in a little apartment, a little 3-floor apartment called Nelor Tower over next to the Feathered Sea. This is like basically a little apartment that Lilith has been renting and the other two of you have been crashing at for basically the last few years. You've been living there about 5 years or so since you guys have all met. Because we did decide in this campaign that you've known each other about that length of time. The tower's not much to look at from the outside, but the inside's decorated pretty well. There's lots of driftwood kind of created furniture with lots of hemp and rope kind of tying things together. Lots of black candles and very smoky kind of smells, rotting wood kind of smells and leafy kind of atmosphere. But since the three of you have been kind of crashing here for a while, why don't you three kind of describe what kind of other pieces and stuff like that are in here in this apartment that you've been living in? Why don't we start with Lilith, since this is her apartment specifically?
Because I am cold-blooded, I prefer to be in a room with a lot of light that comes in. So it keeps me warm and enjoying the sun as it peeks through. And it's very rocky. And that's one of the things that I enjoy as far as like being able to concentrate on my own martial art mentally. And there's not a lot going on just because of the fact that we have these 3 characters who are very frustrated in general and just angry for a lot of reasons. So it's not the most beautiful temple or place kind of thing. So there's like an area in which we can practice our own frustration and being able to like get it out. But I would describe my quarters, at least my side of it, to be a place where it feels very warm and almost like humid or kind of dry, just since we're right off the shore. So we're still getting that sort of circulation, but I prefer an area in which it's much more warm for me.
as Len, her space is a little like kind of a mess. She's used to, well, when she was very, very young, as a pixie, she is from a forest land with she's very connected to nature. So she kind of brings in that nature sometimes. And so there's kind of leaves and sticks and moss growing or whatever. She's found a way to make that happen, but she doesn't like flowers. She absolutely hates them. And her area is just kind of, because she's kind of she's a pickpocket and she loves thieving and fine items. So her space is just kind of filled with a lot of random little trinkets that she's found that she thought were interesting, or a lot of shiny and ribbons and just kind of almost like a nest of sorts. And hers is in a more not as lit part of the house, just because she has she doesn't need a ton of light because she's used to living in deep forest, and then she's also used to having to hide a lot because when she left home at a very young age, she learned that she couldn't be around as a 1 foot tall pixie. It was a very dangerous world for her just to kind of sleep wherever, so she's very used to hiding and being covered.
For Wazlo, I think goblins are pretty adaptable. And I honestly don't know that he's ever had really a quarters of his own. Maybe in the environment that we're in now, maybe he lived in caverns or cave-like areas before, or maybe in the forest. I'm not positive. But he is basically just give me a space. Almost like if they had a large closet, he would be fine in there. And I think that... that he's adapted to it. Do toilets exist in this universe?
I
what
imagine
are they?
so. I'm sure.
But in what fashion? That's what I'm curious about.
Maybe upper class echelons of heroes.
Yeah, I think that Wazlo probably does not have a toilet.
Oh,
for sure. I would say you guys. I would say it's more you guys would probably be more familiar with outhouses or little
what's
little
those
pits
the
outside.
pots, right? Wouldn't they have
yeah,
those
chamber
big,
pots and
chamber
stuff
pots?
like that.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, never mind then on that part. But yeah.
Were you gonna say that Wazlo lives in a toilet?
No, that's not. I wasn't gonna say that. I was gonna say
sewage.
I feel like at one point he would have let if the toilet were overflowing, he would just you know what? I'm gonna let it do its thing and just kind of let it form the terrain that he now lives in is this sewage swampy because he came from the swamps, and so he's now it feels like home, and
I would not
and
agree.
smells like
I would
home.
not agree to that, as this is my family's land. I would not be okay with this.
All right, fine. He lives in a closet.
Wazlo's already made Wazlo the most disgusting person.
I know.
It's he just loves
He's a
the smell
shit
of
troll.
I'm not a shit troll. I'm a shit goblin. Get it right.
Yeah, my bad.
Oh, gross.
Which is why he's good at thieving, because he has no qualms
think
about
I ever-
sneaking in people's toilets
Would
and
it be
sewage
a fetish
pipes.
then that you love the smell of
Shit
stink?
goblin?
I don't love the smell of stink.
You're willing to live in
I'm
it.
used to the
He
smell
just
of
doesn't
stink.
mind it.
Okay, let's retcon a little bit of what I just said, and I don't want to be a shit goblin. I don't want to be associated with that. But
Let's track back.
Step back a little bit. And let's say I do come from the swamp, so I am used to a moisture environment. So I prefer if there are kind of moist elements around me, but I do like being near Lilith's room because it's so warm, and that kind of feels like home to me. So I don't necessarily
I'm just
need.
picturing how that you have a little mist bottle
Yeah.
that you hang out with, and you just occasionally
The opposite of
spritz
Febreze.
Yeah.
You just get in the warm spot and spritz yourself. And you're like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit
Yeah.
breeze.
Shit breeze. Yeah. That's the name. That's the name of that scent.
Yeah.
yeah, it's just stagnant swamp water.
Gross.
Swamp water, yeah.
Gross.
Jeez.
Chris, I'm not sure if you know, what kind of environments do goblins usually live in?
Various goblins are very prominent, especially in this world. So forests, swamps, caves, just a mix of everything. Anywhere you would picture orcs, hobgoblins, things like that living.
Would they be
in this world,
cold-blooded or
goblins would have lived
warm-blooded?
there.
I think they're still
They would be
warm-blooded.
warm-blooded.
So in this area that we're in right now, what's a predominant like terrain type or environment type?
Right now it's very humid forest.
Okay. Humid forest sounds more pleasant than swamp, I guess. So
Yeah.
I'm from the area. I'm from around here, around these parts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've adapted to it. My room is just, it's basic. It's bare. It's, it's nothing too extravagant in it. I've got some like spell books in there, but I don't know how to read them. So it's like, it means nothing. It's just decoration. Because as a sorcerer, my magic is innate anyway. So I don't really need to learn magic. I just kind of.
Would you like look at them for the pictures?
Yeah, I need picture books for my
You're
magic.
just looking like, oh, this looks like this.
Yeah.
I kind of also like the idea that maybe when Len goes on her random like collection or like when she goes out thieving just for the fun of it and she'll be at a house and she's a spell book and she's like, I'll just grab this and give it to Wazlo even though I don't care about it.
Right.
Yes, please.
She's like, she'll just like throw it in your room. Like, here you go.
Yes.
Add it to my collection of unread books. Yes.
Which is funny because the book would be like the size of Len. So it would be like a feat for her to carry it back
Right.
for something that he can't read in the first place.
I think she also,
Which is great.
She kind of finds that funny. It's almost like a slap in the face every time she gives it to
So she does it a
She
little
does it
bit
on
like
purpose.
she's kind of trolling him in a way. That's what you're saying.
I was going to go with the spell that's like interpret languages or something like that, where I could, any language I touch or something or am around,
Sure.
I can read. But then I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to not. I like the idea of him not being able to read.
Right, Mika. Right.
So now that we have like an idea of where you guys are living and what kind of conditions some of you are living in, today's a really important day for the three of you because today is going to be your first day in your brand new dungeon. So you're getting ready to actually go depart your home at Nelor Tower and travel to your first day at the dungeon to Hegre, which is where you're going to be reporting. As you are leaving the apartment tower from which you guys live, you pass one of your neighbors on the way down, a pleasant lizard man named Sethrax. He waves his spear and hisses in acknowledgement as he sips his morning mud coffee out of a horn and follows slightly behind you in the same direction. And you can kind of see on the map where Tehegre is. You'll be traveling over a few hills and through a little bit of rocky terrain and stuff. It's about a 3-mile journey towards your new dungeon. And you guys kind of make sure to stick to the shadows beneath like some of the trees and rocks and stuff, so as to not alert any Tabaxi spies that might be hiding in the cliffs above. So far, you haven't had any run-ins with the cat-like Tabaxi, but you've seen Seth come home with a few new scratches on his scaled face a few times over the last week, so you know that they're out there somewhere. Finally, you reach the ruins and at the base of the cliffside known as the Stretching Sun. You stand before the remains of what used to be a tower once built by Lilith's Yuntai ancestors a century ago. There's a statue nearby that looks like it couldn't be more than actually just a few years old. And there's a name written on it in the common tongue on the front, but a lot of it's actually scratched out, and you know that this marks the location for your new dungeon, as the statue, the only letters that you can read from it, say, Te-he-gre. And you know from this location you are supposed to look for a hidden trapdoor 15 paces east of the statue, 20 paces north, and 40 paces west. And you see that Sethrax, your neighbor, is kind of approaching and walking around and looks at the statue and looks around. You can kind of see him doing the little calculations in his head. And he takes one more sip of his mud coffee. And then he points a spear at like some sort of like loose leaves and stuff like that kind of on the floor. And he says,
First day, huh?
What's it to you?
Well, I mean, I'm your neighbor, and I work here. I thought I'm just making small talk here. It's
Wazlo does not like small talk.
I don't think I've seen you around.
I literally live in the apartment below you guys.
Hello, Seth. Good morning to you. Yes, first days. Is this our Winnebago?
Winnebago? What does that mean? What is a Winnebago?
Laszlo is confused.
You're not the only one. What the hell is going on here?
What are you even talking about?
In the old world, we would call the dungeons Winnebagos.
Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is the entrance right here. I thought maybe you guys wanted to get in there. Seeing I'm assuming it's your first day because I've never seen you go this route.
That's not a very smart thing to do for someone who's part of that dungeon. Is that the kind of security that you have around here?
Well, I mean, I work in R&D. I'm not really the security guy. So
I don't know about this, guys.
Out of the way, let Laszlo enter his Winnebago.
Okay. I mean, sure thing, Chief. You do your thing. And he kind of just steps back out of the way and just is, puts his hands up like, all right, whatever, guys, fine. He backs away from the trapdoor that leads downward.
So is this our work? Like, is this our job? Like,
Yeah.
what is,
Yes.
okay. So
and
this
you
is
guys
our
are
first day of
reporting.
work. Okay.
This is your very first day, correct?
And we've already made an enemy.
With our neighbor.
He was being very cordial, and we're just being incredibly rude.
All right, Laszlo, you said you were going to go for it. Get us in.
All right, Laszlo is going for it.
And I go in. I don't know. Like, it's just an entrance, right? Do I have to do anything?
No, you just open the door.
He opens the door. He does that.
Can you describe the lobby, the beautiful lobby in the dungeon?
As you open the trapdoor, you see like a set of stone stairs kind of leading downwards. Is Laszlo the only one walking down, or are all three of you going in right now?
I think it'd be funny just to watch Laszlo go down, just to make sure.
Yeah, we
it's
just
safe.
watched Laszlo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Laszlo, as you were walking down the stairway, you see that it winds a little bit and then it starts opening up into a bigger chamber. But standing at the front of that chamber is a large hobgoblin in red and leather clothing, wielding a large double-bladed axe, kind of blocking your way forward. He doesn't seem to really notice you at first, but then he kind of sniffs the air a little and then looks down.
Not familiar, you. What business you have?
We work here. I think this is our first day. Laszlo says we, but sees now that no one is with him. So
Does Laszlo speak in third person?
Yeah, Laszlo speaks in third. As much as I can remember, too,
Yes,
Laszlo
that'd
speaks
be
in third
cool.
person.
What Laszlo is? Laszlo alone? Why speak we?
Len takes this opportunity while the guard is talking to Laszlo to sneak past into the entrance of the building.
Okay, I'm going to have you do a stealth roll real quick.
18.
Okay. So as he's watching, like looking down at Laszlo, Lynn with her little wings just kind of like flutters right over his shoulder, and like he is none the wiser whatsoever. He's just looking right down. So Lynn, you're just flying right into this chamber, which is very vast. You're basically in this big subterranean kind of like cave. There's like one main winding route, but you can also see that there's like various levels kind of above too, with no necessarily like sides or anything to some of them. It's like these big stairways that have been carved out of the inside of this cliff or something, like this subterranean cave. And there's lots of like carvings of snakes and serpents and things like that, like big cracked statues of serpent-like creatures pretty much all over the place. And it's very obvious that this is a place that's very easy to get lost in because it is so vast, and there's so many little smaller hallways and things like that. Meanwhile, Laszlo is still kind of being blocked by this big guy, this big hobgoblin, who's just standing here like kind of scratching his head, not understanding Laszlo's giving him like why he keeps saying we, because he's the only person there that he sees.
Laszlo is also getting a little annoyed by this, as he has such a short temper.
Laszlo works here. Please just let Laszlo in.
Len is just sitting here watching the encounter.
Can Lilith slither in?
Are you just gonna kind of come up behind Laszlo?
Yeah, I'm just gonna come from behind him.
The hobgoblin sees you come in too, and he's like,
Is this the we?
This is part of we, yes. Laszlo doesn't know where the other we is.
Do you have punch cards?
Yes, we were assigned here. Here's all 3 punch cards.
Show punch cards to Chull.
Here, in my breasts.
I'm getting it out of my bra. Just let me get. I have no pockets.
This is why I did not want to go with you guys, because I didn't want to touch that. Len comes up from behind and points to the area.
your neighbor Sethrax walks in kind of behind you guys, and he's like kind of shaking his head a little bit, and he's like, they're good. Like, they're my neighbors. Unfortunately, they're fine. Just let them go, Chull. Chull kind of takes a glance at your cards, and he nods a little bit, and he goes,
Follow hallway, 3rd door on left. Conference room C. Buffle will be there for orientation soon.
Who?
Waffle.
Buffle.
Waff?
Buffle.
Buffalo?
Buffle.
Like waffle, but with a B.
Buffle.
Waffle.
Dude, you're going to have to learn to speak a little bit better if you're going to be guarding the door. Nobody knows what you're saying.
Pastries would be there at the conference room.
Where 3rd we come from voice?
and he's looking around because he never saw Lynn come in. So he's like, where is this coming from? He's turning around. He's like,
Pesky fly.
Yeah, she does that. Get used to it.
And I'm not a fly.
Children, we must go to our orientation.
To orientation.
Chull steps aside, allowing you guys to enter the cave. Sethrax is kind of like following you along a little bit at a distance. You see him kind of peek over the edge of one of the suspended stairways as you guys are walking. Now, the left side does have walls. It has like a cave wall with some outcroppings into it, and some of them are doorways, some of them are stairways going down to other halls and chambers and things like that. Sethrax points with his pointed little clawed finger and says, that's your conference room over there. It's where your orientation begins. Like Chull said, Boff will be along shortly to begin your session. I guess after your tour's over, you know, if you guys get bored, you can come down to R&D. It's down that hallway just past the conference room. I don't know. I don't got a lot of friends here, so like I'm trying to like I don't know. My therapist says I should make more friends. I'm trying to be a better person, you know, what I can. But like, if you guys aren't into it, it's cool.
Laszlo,
let me know now.
Thank you, kind neighbor. Laszlo will remember this.
Trust is earned, not given. We met in our cells. You must be in prison with us as well.
That was very cryptic.
I typically try to stay out of prison cells for the most part, but
yeah, then that makes you less interesting, and I'm not interested anymore. Bye, Seth.
All right. Well, see ya. So Sethrax turns and continues down the main path into some dim light and turns down a hallway where he
farewell, Seth.
where he pointed R&D would be down. So as you guys enter conference room C, you notice a set of stone tables. There's some wooden chairs arranged in kind of like a U shape with a large banner hanging overhead that says, "Welcome to the dungeon. We've got fun and games."
Dude, I knew you were going to do that joke. Right when you said welcome to the dungeon, I was waiting for that.
There's a large podium at the front of the room with a mug of some slightly foggy water next to a really ornate looking book. There's a small table towards the left side of the room that has a few additional mugs and some piping hot cauldron of mud coffee.
Len goes and grabs a little bit of she immediately grabs a cup of the mud
coffee?
The mud coffee, because she's like has a really big problem with that. So she has to get some, and then she comes back to talk.
Can you roll a d20 for me?
Does she have to get like a thimble to drink it out of? Or
yeah, she's got like a tiny little.
She has one on her person.
Gotcha.
16.
Okay, you gained +1 perception for the rest of the day from that mud coffee.
Laszlo goes to get some coffee too.
Okay, roll a d20.
I rolled a 2.
You have -1 perception for the rest of the day.
Oh, Wazlo should have eaten something first.
Right, is there donuts here?
No, all you guys, the mud coffee at the moment. There's no food, unfortunately.
Is anyone else's mouth very dry?
Laszlo, I mean, we tell you every time, you just can't handle the mud coffee.
I'll tell you what I can and can't handle.
As you guys are taking your places and drinking down your mud coffee, a short, portly-looking bullywug walks through the open doorway and glances around the room.
Well, then it's just you three? Sheesh, it gets smaller and smaller every time.
The horn-toed-looking bullywug enters the room, scoots one of the chairs up behind the podium where he climbs up, slipping off a few times before he wipes a bead of sweat from his bulbous face. And then he unfolds a small scroll from one of his pockets, slips on a pair of very large glasses, and he begins to read.
My name is Buffle, and I am pleased to welcome you to our dungeon. We realize you have many choices in dungeoning, and we are privileged to have your company, joining us on this day. Here at Tehegre, we value fun as much as we value villainy, so we hope you will indulge in the many fun activities we offer, such as free Mud Coffee Mondays, Casual Fridays, and our annual upcoming Tabaxi Hunt, where we capture a local Tabaxi, remove its tail, and don blindfolds as we try to stab it back into place. Last year's hunt was a rousing success with limited employee death. As a company working out of Tehegre, you will be compensated for completing Queevils, which is what we, our highly intelligent boss monster, Toreth the Mad, decided to call our evil quests. Queevils can be found posted on the Queevil board in the break room. However, any company completing Queevils must abide by these dungeon rules. All Queevils are first come, first serve, and you are not the only company working here at Tehegre, which means whoever completes the Queevil first will be the only company rewarded for that Queevil. All companies will conduct themselves in a professionally villainous manner, both within and outside of the workplace. No ill words will ever be spoken of our boss monster, even should he be the direct cause of any accidental or purposeful maiming or disfigurement. And finally, any treasures, shinies, or magical items must be surrendered to financial upon return of completing a Queevil. Withholding of any items make you liable for termination, both figuratively and literally.
Len has spit out her coffee at this point. Excuse me, nobody said anything about not being able to keep anything shiny.
You will be compensated for completing your Queevil, but things acquired on your Queevils will be turned into financial for the sake of the dungeon and our boss monster, Toreth the Mad, and again, you will be compensated fairly afterwards.
Do you provide
Financials.
tools so that we may be able to torture these souls?
Tools can be found down in R&D, so before taking on a Queevil or departing the dungeon, I suggest you do visit research and development and see what they have. Not all items are free, but sometimes you might get away with a freebie. Just don't let me hear about it here in Villain Resources.
How is the health insurance here?
Every once in a while, you might be able to find a health potion somewhere. That does not have to be turned into financial, so in the event that you might die, you could drink a health potion and possibly not die.
My fangs are 111 years old. I may need dental care.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't have teeth or fangs. I am literally a frogman.
Laszlo likes these odds.
Any questions, or are you ready for the tour?
Do we get more points if we kill more people?
That's just one of the many perks of working for Tehegre, is you get to kill indiscriminately.
Ooh, wonderful.
As long as you aren't killing other companies working for Tehegre. We try to restrict the killing of our various companies against other companies.
How do we know who's in the company?
You will probably see them in the break room. You will meet them, so you will know.
I don't like meeting creatures.
See them as walking toe tags.
I like that.
Wazlow wonders, what is the penalty for killing other parties?
That would be up for our fearless and brilliant boss monster, Torith the Mad, to decide.
Who is this Torith the Mad?
He would be our boss monster. I don't know how to make that much more clear. He is the boss of our dungeon.
Does he come and visit this Winnebago?
I mean, yes, he does. He does do that. Yes.
This question, it's unrelated, but related. Where does Torith the Mad keep everything that is brought to him?
Some of the things are kept in financial, and some things are kept in the treasury, I suppose.
Where's that?
Well, that would be on the upper floor and very well guarded.
Okay, we can stay.
I believe there's a place for all of us here. Shall we continue our orientations?
Oh, are you ready for the tour then?
Yes.
Sure.
Waffle slumps down from his little stool. He kind of slides off of it and he falls onto his back a little bit and then kind of rolls over and slightly gets himself up, brushes himself off. And then he walks you out of the conference room and back into the greater length of the cave. He points out his office, which is a little farther down the hallway, and next to his little office hole there, it says Villain Resources engraved on the cave right next to it. Just before his office is a hallway on the left side, and you recognize that's the one that Sethrax had turned down earlier. And Buffalo says, if you're ever looking for traps, nets, ammo, things like that, you could head down to R&D, talk to Sethrax down on the left side. They've usually got some good stuff down there for a small price. Then any treasures you find while out on the Kraggle must be surrendered to financial. They're down that same hallway, first door on the right. Leading you further along, the walls drop away once again from both sides of the path for a little bit until you reach a large platform with two other elevated stairways leading off of it. Now, the far path there leads up to the torture chambers and prison cells. I think we only have one, and then you suddenly hear a scream cut off very quickly. The cells are empty at this time, apparently. Come follow me up the central path instead. Then he leads you up a stairway towards the middle of the cave that rises up several feet, and then you see others kind of coming and going along this path as you enter a large chamber full of tables and chairs with what looks like a small bar towards the back. This here is the break room where most of the companies operating out of our dungeon will gather and strategize between jobs. He points at a large wooden table with a few pieces of parchment nailed to it. Right there's the Kraggle board. Once we're done here, you can settle in and take a look over there and look for the right job. Please take only one at a time, although there is no fault in a little healthy competition. Again, try not to murder any of the other companies. Tending the bar that you saw towards the back is a large, rock-like winged creature with large horns, one of them broken, and glowing red eyes, and he's wiping down the bar top with a very dirty-looking rag as he nods at Boffle and gives a short little wave to the rest of you. That's Kraggle behind the bar. If you're looking for food or ale, he will have you covered. Very good at listening, too. Lots of the others tend to talk his stony little ears off about the troubles while they're a few drinks in. Kraggle doesn't really seem to mind, though. There's one more path leading off from this area where you can see traps of all sorts lining the floor. We won't be going down that hallway right now for fear of death, but that leads to the main office of Torith the Mad as well as the treasury, which he basically stares at most of the day. Our guards and financial services are the only ones permitted into his chambers, unless he summons us for any special reasons, which usually are not good. So that's the grand tour, and we're actually kind of running a bit early. So do you have any other questions before I give you back the gift of time?
Where is your lost and found section?
Usually if somebody loses something, somebody else just steals it or tosses it over the edge of the cave into the vast abyss.
You're saying that stealing from company members is okay as long as we don't kill them.
I'm just going to pretend that you didn't ask me that question.
Do you get an employee discount for said beverages?
There's no employee discount per se, and he's kind of like waving his little fingers as like little air quotes. If Kraggle over there likes you enough, you know, he's known to be a bit of a softie despite his rocky appearance.
You see Wazlo over there, kind of doing that meme where it's like calculations going through his head, and he's kind of like whispering to himself a little bit. He's like, "Lost and found in vast abyss." Got it.
Do we get holidays off?
I gotta be very honest with you. I have been here for about 27 years, and I don't know what a holiday is. Any other questions before I retire to my offices?
When do we start?
Start immediately. I would just kind of maybe peek around the break room a little bit, maybe get to know the Queevil board here, and take a Queevil. He does like a little bow to you, but he bows a little too far, and he falls forward and kind of just like bonks himself on the head a little bit and passes out. Looking around the break room that you're in, again, you've got the bar kind of towards the back. You've got the Queevil board next to it with a few things posted up there, a few Queevils and stuff that you could take. And there's like, you know, there's some tables around with a few other, you know, some creatures and stuff like that. There's like a table of 4 kobolds drinking really heavily, like they're celebrating something. There's an orc and an ogre sitting up at the bar. Just kind of like a hodgepodge of others at various tables. There's a couple of goblins at one table. There's a Durgar, which is a dark dwarf, sitting at a table adjacent of them.
Let us go to this Queevil board. And if someone could please read these for Wazlo, that would be appreciated.
Okay, so you guys start approaching the Queevil board, and as you get up to it, all of a sudden from somewhere behind you, you hear like a whistle sound, and a knife whips from the darkness and embeds itself into the board right in front of you, landing right in front of a task that reads, "Locate Tabaxi scouts and eliminate." And a female tiefling approaches from somewhere out of the dim light behind you, revealing her pale complexion with long, wavy, raven-colored hair, parted by 2 jagged horns protruding from the top, with silver chains and jewelry hanging from them, as well as her long, thin tail ending in a razor-sharp, jagged arrowhead. She measures the lot of you with her blood-red eyes and smiles. You notice in one hand she grips a small bundle of tabaxi tails, still dripping in blood. From behind her, you see a drow covered in glowing symbols decorating his skin, and a gith with a patch covering his right eye, but a tattoo of an eye decorating his forehead. And on the gith's shoulder pad of his armor sits a little sentient ooze that coils up like a snake. The tiefling stands in awkward silence for a moment before speaking.
So, you must be the new company. It's a pleasure. My name's Riza Razortail, and this is Janos, Riddick, and Soup. We're called the Razor's Edgelords, the deadliest company this dungeon's ever seen. That means we take the deadliest Queevils, which is good news for you since newbies tend to live longer taking the low-hanging fruit. And there's no shame in that. Maybe once I'm boss monster, you'll be my best company. Or maybe not.
And she grins.
Good luck with your first Queevil. We're going to go hand ours in. Careful if you take that last one. Wouldn't want to lose you on the first day.
And with that, the other 2 edgelords that actually have faces smile, and they all turn and start walking off back towards Financial to turn in the spoils of their tasks.
Was she flirting with me? I'm very attracted to her all of a sudden.
Did anyone else get a sarcastic vibe from anything she said?
I was too busy staring at her silver. Do you think I could steal one real quick before she notices, or is she too far away?
Not yet. I will try to get her in my chamber. Then you may have your fill.
This is good.
So when you're looking at the Queevil board, it feels like pretty slim pickings. A lot of the good stuff is pretty marked out. There's only 3 quests, or, well, I guess Queevils, that have yet to be taken. Either gather 20 sacks of firewood, the reward is 3 shinies. Gather 30 pounds of meat, the reward is 5 shinies. The last one is search the ruins near Oakwater Forest and capture a new dungeon monster. The reward is 10 shinies plus a mystery prize.
We have to go for the mystery prize, right? Anyone else?
I don't really feel like collecting meat or freaking sticks.
I'm good to stretch my long.
What would I call it? Not my legs.
Your body? I don't know.
My long
person.
Your little slither piece? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me stretch my slither piece.
Tentacle. What is it?
So all of a sudden you see like a little bit of a stir on the ground and you hear a little noise and you hear that Boffle's finally waking up from knocking himself out.
Oh, what did I miss? It's you guys. How's your first day going so far?
We've decided to take on a task from the Quivels board.
Oh, you've picked a Queevil. Great. Oh, my head. I would head on down to R&D before you. Oh, hang on, everything's splitting. Ooh, okay. Yes, I would head down to R&D before you take off and get loaded up, see if they have anything you need, and then be on your way. We're very pleased to see that you're already assimilating into our dungeon. I'm very proud of you all. If you would just hold still, I would pat. Nope, no one's holding. Wait, I think it's me. I think it's. Oh, and then he passes out again.
All right, Toadman.
Shall we get a beverage from Kraggle before we search the ruins?
If he's got mud coffee, I'm up for it.
Hello there, newbies. What can I do for you?
I'll take an ale for my dry mouth.
You got any mud coffee back there?
Some mud coffee? Sure. 1 mud coffee is going to be 5 silver, so a half shine. And then 1 ale for you. I did not catch your name there, darling. What is it?
Lilith.
Lilith. Very, very scary sounding name. Congratulations on that. Okay, one shine for your ale.
Wazlo would like a water. The mud coffee has dried out his mouth.
Water, okay. Do you want that flavored with mud or grubs or anything, or do you just want the straight water?
Do the grubs come free?
Grubs are free.
Then yes, please. All the grubs that I can get for free.
All right, and water is also free. So here's some water with some free grubs.
He just sticks his hand down in this little like almost like a wooden bucket that he's got next to the thing. He pulls out like a little clump of dirt and he kind of shakes the dirt a little bit so that some of the dirt falls out of it. And then he plops like a few grubs into this like really disgusting foggy looking glass of water and just slides it over to you.
Thank you, kind Kraggle.
So, first day for everyone, huh?
Yes, and we have already come across a Quivil that we'd like to explore. Baffle says you are quite a listener.
I'm here all day, so might as well.
What do you know of ruins?
Well, there are a lot of ruins around here for sure. Which Queevil did you take? Are you talking about the one near Oakwater?
Yes.
Hold on.
Time out.
Little goblin over there's dying. Poor guy.
The grubs didn't agree with me.
Choked on a grub. That'll happen. To be honest, I've heard some interesting things about those ruins over there. Of course, used to be, all this land used to belong to your people.
And he's nodding to Lilith.
But ever since they kind of disappeared with the rise of all the heroes and everything's sort of fallen to disarray. Certain things have been taking up residence in some of these ruins. Not quite the humans and elves and dwarves. Sometimes it's something stranger than them.
Stranger? What do you mean by stranger?
Something not from around here.
Children, are we interested?
I'll take it. It's 10. 10. Yeah, 10.
Wazlo is very curious about this mystery prize.
Oh, they're saying there's a mystery prize. Okay.
What know you of mystery prizes?
All I know is that seems very rare.
Okay, yep, we're doing it. Guess we'll go see that lizard guy. What was his name again?
You must be talking about Seth.
Oh, yeah, lizard guy. Let's go see him.
Good guy, Seth. Needs to make some more friends.
So we've been aware.
Yes, he has told us that he is lacking friends.
He's got a lot of problems, that one. Lot of self-esteem issues.
Much appreciated, Kraggle. Shall we, children, and visit our neighbor Seth?
Yes, let us comment on his low self-esteem as well.
As you travel your way back down through the dungeon and down the hallway where Boffel had pointed out where R&D is earlier, you can start to hear the whirring of machinery and clanking of hammers. And then the smell of hot iron fills your nose as you walk through the doorway. In a large, burrowed-out cabin, there are folk of all shapes and sizes working away at all kinds of weapons and different contraptions. You see Sethrax approaching quickly, his mud coffee having finally kicked in. So, how was the tour? Did you make any friends out there?
We're not here for friends.
Yeah, I hope Riza does become a very close friend of mine one day.
Great. You met Riza. Perfect. That's just great. All right. Did you guys take a Queevil or something that maybe I can help equip you guys with? Anything?
Here. Lynn takes the scroll and gives it to him.
Okay. So you need to capture a new monster for the dungeon. Got it. Okay.
Yes, would you please provide us with the best equipment to gather mystery prizes?
Mystery? A mystery prize. That sounds awesome. Some of the stuff you do have to pay for, just a company policy, but I can give a little bit of a discount because we are neighbors. Just, don't tell anyone because I really need this job. But I'll give you my friend discount if I can at least get one of you. I need one of you to just call me your friend, and then I can give you that. But one of you has to physically say we're friends.
I would consider you an ally at this point.
I mean, that's not quite what I was going. I mean, that's similar, but I mean, it's got a. It's
what
not
is
the F
your
word I was hoping.
monster book handle? I'll friend you on there.
Oh, sweet. Okay, yeah, cool. DM me later, and I'll hit you up. Thanks. Cool. So here's what he has to offer you guys: 2 nets, 5 hunting traps. Then he's got some arrows. I don't know if either of you guys. If anyone has something that needs arrows, you can let me know if you want to buy arrows. He's also got some extra rope, and he has a grappling hook that does not come with rope, so you would need to buy the rope with the grappling hook if you want to use that. He also gets real excited after he shows you these things. He's like, hey, wait a minute. Before you leave, I do have something for you guys. Consider this one a gift because you said that you would be my friend. But don't tell anyone. This is a new item that I've been working on, so no one knows about it yet. But maybe you can use it and just Just let me know if it works. I call it the Iron Bands of Binding. He hands you a ball of what appears to be these very intricately woven iron bands. They're slightly rusted, but they're very firm. Throwing this at an enemy should release the bands, which will secure again upon contact. May it aid you, my new friends.
I don't mind holding on to it since it is 3 inches and it weighs 1 pound. That could be too heavy for our beautiful little pixie.
Yeah.
Just slightly, just a little.
It'll affect my flight path.
Right, it'll slow you down just a bit.
I think a hunting trap might be helpful.
Yeah, let's get a few traps.
Are you going to carry these?
How big are these traps, first of all?
Think of like a bear trap. I mean, that's basically what they are.
Oh, I don't know what 5 of them, then I can't carry those. Maybe let's just do one. Let's gamble. Let's just stick with one.
Yeah, if you could just kind of let me know how these work, like just, so I can, if they do work, I'll make more of these and stuff. And also, you're welcome, because I kind of gave these to you for free.
Sethrax, Wazlo appreciates your servitude and feels that with work like this, you may eventually become a friend.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, thanks.
If your device, whatever you call it, doesn't
Iron
get anyone
Bands of
killed.
Binding.
Yeah, whatever.
That's
As
what-
long as it doesn't kill anybody, then maybe I'll consider telling you that.
Wait, tell me what?
Nothing.
Oh.
We may consider telling you the F word.
We shall remember to thank you.
That's my favorite word. Well, you guys have fun. Do you know where you're going? Like, how to get where you're going?
Did anyone tell us?
Yeah. Kraggle did, and we just nodded, but we're like, I did not write it down.
I mean, I know the place, but do we have like a general map or something?
Is it on the map, Chris? Is there a ruin on the map?
Church the ruins.
That Oakwater Forest right there? Yeah, so it's north of where we are.
You know where we're going.
As you exit the dungeon, you begin traveling north into Oakwater Forest. Aside from the birds and the wind moving through the trees, it's fairly quiet and peaceful. And eventually you come to a small break in the heavy foliage, to a large pond. And on the other side of that pond, you can just barely make out a tent hidden among the brush, a little off the beaten path that you've been traveling.
Hey, let's get a closer look at that tent. There could be something good.
Can I do a perception check to just be wary and make sure there's no obvious like ambushes awaiting us?
So tell me like exactly what you want to do. Like, are you trying to like scan like the tree line or what exactly do you want to look for?
Yeah, let me just look around in places where it would be obvious that someone could be hiding to see if I can spot anything out of the norm.
Well, maybe I should do the perception check because I think my ability for that is really high.
And mine has a -1 because of the coffee.
Yeah, she has a +1 right now.
But I would like to try it still because I'm not deterred by this -1.
So, all right, Wazlo will do this one then.
I'll try it.
Runs ahead before Len can do it.
Go ahead.
All right, I got an 11 after the -1.
The only thing that you really notice, you see a bird that kind of startled you at first, like as it leapt from one branch to another, and you're just kind of like, ah! And then that was pretty much like it. Like that sort of distracted you enough that you forgot to really keep looking around. So you don't really notice anything.
I shout back to them.
Everything looks clear, but beware of birds.
Looking around the area, you guys can see that there's like there's a tent kind of by the remains of a campfire. There doesn't seem to be like a whole lot more around the area unless you guys wanted to really like investigate certain aspects of those things that I mentioned. But
I peek into the tent and see if there's anything worth taking.
The only thing that you can really see is you see like there's like a sleeping pack, like a rolled up kind of like blanket and stuff. And then there's like a small box, just a small little wooden box inside.
Hey, guys, I found a box. I don't think there's anything else useful here. Can I test it to make sure there's no traps somehow?
So this box, it's pretty simple. Like it's definitely not like locked or anything like that. So it doesn't seem like, just with the naked eye, it doesn't seem like there's anything really sinister about it. So
Here, Wazlo, I found a box. Open it.
Ooh, a box. I open it with no regard.
You find a whetstone used for sharpening swords. You find a small notebook that has a few sketches of like various landmarks and stuff like that. A little bit of a diary. It seems like written in common tongue. And you can't read very much. Like maybe every once in a while there's like certain phrases that you can recognize. The only thing that you can really see repeated a lot is where the hell is it? There's also a little quarter wheel of cheese.
I throw everything else down and I just go right after the cheese.
All right, I pick up the notebook to take a look and see what it says.
Yeah. The notebook is definitely somebody that has been like kind of exploring the area and has been kind of like almost like sketching, like doing some cartography, kind of making a map of the local area. And you can kind of see that they've been making maps of like other areas and stuff like that. When they are saying where the hell is it, they're referring to a statue that they're looking for. Now they don't really detail what statue they're looking for, just that you can tell that it's a statue specifically.
Wow, it looks like it's just a bunch of maps and drawings, and then something about a statue. Statues are too big. Nobody steals
Children,
those.
stop. Len, your hoarding is getting out of control. And Wazlo, can you at least chew with your mouth closed? Let me see this notebook.
I'm crouched down, like munching on that cheese. I just turn around to her, but my mouth is still full, so I don't say anything.
For we need to go straight to the ruins, please. However, this notebook may come in handy. Good find, Len.
Yeah, sure, you can have it.
Smells like delicious side quest.
I'll take this whetstone, and shall we continue?
I'm wiping crumbs from my mouth, cheese crumbs.
Yes, Wazlo is refreshed.
Okay, so as you guys are walking away from this tent area back towards the direction of that path that you were going to take back to the ruins, leaving this immediate area, I want all of you to do a quick dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Well, I rolled a nat 20.
Nice.
I rolled a critical miss.
Okay.
But I still add my +5 then?
No, critical miss negates everything.
Okay.
Damn.
And then mine was 22.
As you guys are walking along, you see like a little pile of like suspicious leaves. As you're walking, Lynn floats right over it with her, she's got her wings flapping, floats right over it. Wazlo sees it and does like this sweet like front flip over it and like completely just nowhere near it. But Lilith slithers right over it and feels this sticky wetness right underneath her slithery body because she just slithered through some covered up poop.
Oh.
I shall hope it rains soon.
Smells like home.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Party in Peril Villains, a podcast produced by NerdSloth.com. If you had a good time, please just do us one little favor and share this episode or clip your favorite parts of the episode and share that with any friends, family, or on social media. And don't forget that you can impact our players and give them an edge by giving us a rating on Apple Podcasts, which translates in-game as Peril Points, which they can use to purchase special items, including weapons or gadgets crafted by our NerdSloth Patreon supporters. Many of the sound effects heard in the show were licensed from Sword Coast Soundscapes, so please visit swordcoastsoundscapes.bandcamp.com to hear all of their amazing ambient and background audio productions. And also a huge thank you to Atlas Music for providing the Villains theme song, Drop the Beat, My Lord. You can find even more of his fantastic modern-day fantasy mixes on YouTube or Songtrader. Love y'all, and roll those 20s. Presented by NerdSloth,
a place for lazy nerds.
If you like what you heard, consider donating at patreon.com/nerdsloth so we can continue bringing you quality shows. Be sure to also leave us a review and share your favorite episodes and clips on social media. If you're looking for more content, visit us at nerdsloth.com.